Have you noticed rooms go quiet when you walk in? It's not you, it's the mark on you. Listen closely. This isn't paranoia, and it isn't pride. It's recognition. Your spirit carries a seal that interrupts the noise, and when the noise stops, truth gets louder. This message will show you why your presence unsettles some people, how to stop internalizing their reactions, and how to walk in quiet authority starting today. Picture it. Your life is a lamp switched on in a dusty room. No one is angry at the lamp. They're bothered by what the light reveals. Dust dances, corners show, old cobwebs surrender. That's why certain eyes shift and certain smiles freeze. Light exposes. Light also guides. Breathe. You were never called to dim so others can stay asleep. Say it with me, slowly, as you exhale. I'm not a problem, I'm a signal. Your neighbors may not have language for it, but heaven does. You're marked for clarity where confusion has camped. Marked for order where chaos has rented a room. Marked for mercy where bitterness has built a fence. When they sense that mark, some will draw close for warmth. Others will squint and step back. Either way, the lamp remains. Do not apologize for illumination. Do not negotiate your shine. Place your hand over your heart and whisper. Let the bones hear it. I'm not a problem. I'm a signal. If this witnesses with your spirit, type it now. I am marked, and I won't hide. And before we go deeper, bless this word so it reaches who it must. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't. And comment 99 to seal agreement with divine order and holiness. Let 99 be your sign that you stand with the light that exposes and heals. Feel the room before the room feels you. Your spirit carries a frequency, subtle, exact, undeniable. Like a tuning fork struck in silence, you vibrate, and everything that's out of tune starts buzzing back. That vibration is not aggression, it's revelation. Discomfort around you is often exposure, not offense. People aren't upset at the sound. They're startled by what the sound reveals about their own notes. Imagine a vial of rare oil cracked open in a closed space. Within seconds, the air changes. Some inhale deeply because beauty just arrived. Others wince because purity stings where counterfeit has been comfortable. But notice this, no one can ignore the fragrance. You didn't lecture. You didn't perform. You simply carried what you carry. Light behaves the same way. The moment it appears, dust becomes visible, floating like little truths that were always there but unseen. Light doesn't accuse. It reveals. And revelation demands choices. Clean or conceal. Open the window or close the curtain. That is why certain faces harden when you enter, and certain hearts soften. The difference is not your worth. It's their willingness. You are made to be light. Light doesn't ask permission to shine. Lamps don't apologize to darkness. They stand. They serve. They stay. Walk in like a lighthouse. Steady beam, steady base, steady soul. Some ships will course correct towards safety. Others will turn away because safety requires surrender. Either way, the lighthouse doesn't shrink its beam to protect egos. It shines to preserve lives. You will be misunderstood by those who prefer fog to clarity. Accept it without bitterness. Remember the hospital sting when antiseptic hits an open wound. It hurts for a moment, then healing can begin. Your presence can feel like that, a brief burn that proves cleansing has started. Do not mistake the flinch for hatred. Sometimes it's hope waking up under scar tissue. Breathe. Enter rooms slowly. Let your peace precede your words. Put your shoulders where they belong, back, not bowed. Claim your space silently. I stand as light. When tension presses in, lower your voice, not your value. Pace your breath and the room will take its cue from you. You are not responsible for their weather, but you are accountable for your climate. Keep your inner barometer set to calm, set to clarity, set to truth. Stop over-apologizing for being whole. Stop shrinking to make turbulence comfortable. If a glass rattles when a train passes, the problem isn't the glass. The track is alive beneath it. You are that track. Movement announces itself. Train your nervous system to interpret reaction as confirmation rather than condemnation. Feel the frequency in your chest, steady, slow, royal. When gossip circles, let excellence answer with fruit. When eyes roll, let your focus write a different headline. When silence becomes heavy, smile with mercy. The room is negotiating with light. You don't need to win the arguments light already won. You need to remain. And as you remain, refine your scent. Let gratitude be the bass note, integrity the heart note, wisdom the top note. Gratitude disarms envy. Integrity silences suspicion. Wisdom chooses timing. Share less when curiosity is carnal. Share more when hunger is holy. And if you sense hostility, don't escalate, elevate. Lift the atmosphere with a sentence that governs without striving. Peace, be still here. Then continue your assignment, as if the decree already worked, because authority is often recognized before it's admitted. Place your hand over your chest one more time and without theatrics, settle your identity. I'm not a problem. I'm a signal. Signals are for navigation, not validation. Ships don't argue with lighthouses. They decide. You keep shining. You keep breathing. You keep walking. And just when the room thinks it has learned your rhythm, something startling happens. The very person who seemed most offended will circle back with a question they never thought they'd ask. A confession they never meant to make. An opening they swore they would never give. And when that door cracks, what you release next will change everything. Stop taking daggers with fingerprints and calling them your fault. What moves against you rarely learns your name. What moves against you recognizes your assignment. This is not personal. It's spiritual. Picture a courtroom where the case looks like you versus them, but the real trial is compromise versus conviction, lucid purpose versus sleepy passivity. You walk in with clean currency, truth, consistency, prayer, and every counterfeit bill in the room starts to panic. People without language for your anointing will borrow the only vocabulary they know: sarcasm, avoidance, whispers. They're not naming you. They're negotiating with the pressure your presence puts on their unmade choices. Rejection, then, is often proof of selection, not evidence of deficiency. The gate that slams in your face is sometimes heaven's way of rerouting you from a small room to a high embassy. Ambassadors don't loiter where treaties are mocked. Step back, straighten your posture, and remember. Promotions from God often arrive disguised as exclusions from people. Your integrity is a mirror that refuses to flatter. When it's held up, some see a face that needs washing. They may call the mirror cruel, but the mirror isn't cruel. It's clear. That's why nice can turn cold in a single afternoon. Why lunch invites dry up. Why eyes cut sideways when you simply do the right thing with no commentary. Your diligence exposes shortcuts. Your silence exposes agendas. Your peace exposes addictions to drama. Those reactions are not measurements of your worth. They are weather reports of a storm you did not cause. So change how you read the forecast. When the air gets strange and the temperature drops around your name, treat it like a systems alert. Unseen warfare detected. Increase prayer covering, lock your schedule, close the casual doors, and move as if cameras are on, because in the spirit, they are. This is why whisper campaigns feel sticky, not because the words are true, but because the assignment behind them seeks to glue doubt to your identity. Resist the urge to defend yourself in every hallway. Defense is a full-time job for people who forgot they already have an advocate. Your job is alignment. Speak like a commander, not an applicant. Under your breath, set your stance. I won't beg for rooms I outgrew. I carry peace. I won't trade it for approval. Say it again, slower, so your nervous system hears it. I won't beg for rooms I outgrew. I carry peace. I won't trade it for approval. Watch what happens when you stop auditioning. Some doors that once pretended to be walls will quietly swing open, and other doors will reveal themselves as trap stages leading nowhere. Let discernment, not loneliness, pick your table. Examples? The co-worker who smiles until ethical standards block their shortcut. Suddenly you're difficult, not because you changed, but because their plan did. The neighbor who waves until your boundaries interrupt their gossip. Now you're cold, when in truth you're just not a porch for parasites. The relative who loved your vulnerability until it stopped being entertaining. Now your healing threatens their narrative, so they try to rewind you back into the role you outgrew. In each case, remember, it's not personal. It's positional. Your life is an embassy. Some passports won't scan. Refuse the smuggling of old patterns across your border. Stamp denied on manipulation, on flattery with a hook, on invitations that cost your clarity. And when you must speak, keep it surgical. Few words, clean edges. People project discomfort when your integrity highlights their compromise, yes, but they also reach for transformation when your stability offers them a ladder. That is the secret the enemy hopes you'll miss. The same presence that agitates also magnetizes. Hold the line long enough, and the ones who mocked will come knocking, not to win, but to learn. Remember this in your bones. Selection creates separation before celebration. A seed is selected and then buried. A soldier is selected and then sent to the silent range. A prophet is selected and then misunderstood by the city they were sent to bless. Let the timeline do its work. Keep your heart soft, your boundaries firm, your calendar holy. Refuse to be baited into brawls designed to stain your mantle. When heat rises, drink water, not gasoline. Pray names, don't post them. Rejection is not exile, it's escort, away from the counterfeit crown and toward the throne room where decisions are made about streets you haven't walked yet. Breathe now and put language to your line in the sand. I won't beg for rooms I outgrew. I carry peace. I won't trade it for approval. Let those words sit on your tongue like iron, heavy and sure. Because the moment you stop negotiating with lesser altars, patterns break. Watch closely. The one who has avoided you for weeks will suddenly need counsel they can't Google. The meeting that excluded you will dissolve without your stability. The neighbor who rolled their eyes at your quiet order will feel a tremor in their own house and remember the only steady voice on the block. And just when you decide to say nothing at all, a soft knock comes. Not loud, not public. An invitation through a side door you didn't know existed. And what waits behind that door will ask you to choose between comfort and calling, between being liked for a moment and being useful for a generation. You are not being ignored, you are being incubated. Invisibility can be a divine strategy so precise that it feels like silence while it's really choreography. Seeds disappear beneath the surface and the impatient call it death. But heaven calls it preparation. The soil's darkness is a womb, not a tomb. Down where no applause can reach and no rumor can interfere, roots make their quiet contract with depth. Roots before fruits, always. Because public weight without underground strength is a tree destined to snap in the first storm. So God hides. You like treasure under earth, not to deny you light, but to make sure that when the light comes, you won't be ripped from the ground by the first gust of attention. Think of kings anointed in back rooms while the crowd worshipped taller brothers. Think of oil that found the shepherd boy after everyone assumed the ceremony was over. Overlooked isn't over. It's the protocol of protection. The field trains what the palace will test. Shepherd paths carve instincts that thrones cannot teach. How to read the sky for weather, how to guard what bleats and bruises, how to swing a sling with focus that ignores hecklers, how to sense a wolf by the rhythm of the grass before the shadow even shows. Obscurity is not punishment. It is training with the volume turned down so you can hear the subtleties that save nations later. The hidden season does not waste you. It edits you. It cuts the scenes that play well to crowds but collapse under destiny. You learn to love the long way. You learn to do the right thing when there is no audience to feed your need. You learn the quiet mathematics of mastery. Small, faithful units multiplied by time equals authority that does not tremble when challenged. So treat your hidden season like an internship with heaven. Show up to the assignment, even if nobody clocks you in. Build craft until excellence becomes muscle memory. Write until your sentences carry weight. Practice until your delivery owns. Air. Study until your eyes recognize nuance. Rehearse until your spirit can speak without yelling. Build prayer stamina until stillness stops feeling like emptiness and starts feeling like oxygen. Set watches in the night, 15 minutes here, 20 there, so your inner ear learns the difference between anxiety and instruction. Train discernment. Like a musician trains pitch, test every voice, including your own. Ask, does this urge lead to order or to chaos, to clarity or to confusion, to service or to spectacle? Keep a record of what you hear and what actually happens. Nothing matures discernment like honest feedback loops. Protect your schedule with the same jealousy a farmer protects a planting window. Some invitations are hailstorms dressed like friendships. Decline politely and keep sowing. Excellence is your apology to no one. You owe it, not as performance for critics, but as gratitude for the breath you carry. Pour yourself into work that would embarrass shortcuts. If people misread your absence from their circle, bless them and stay in the field. A shepherd cannot abandon lambs to please a table that confuses noise with significance. In hiddenness, God will begin to send you small, specific tests, a task, with no credit line attached. A moment to correct the error no one would have noticed. An opportunity to honor someone who cannot repay you. A chance to forgive quietly without the trophy of being seen as merciful. Pass them. Each one upgrades your unseen resume. As you pass them, the soil will start to shift in ways others can't perceive. Doors you never knocked on will begin to unlock from the inside. Skills you didn't think were spiritual will suddenly become solutions others call miraculous. You will find that obscurity has gifted you with reflexes crowds rarely develop. The reflex to listen before leaping, the reflex to bless before branding, the reflex to pause when flattered and move when commanded. You will also learn to bear the tension that destroys many. You will feel ready while God still says stay, and you will feel unready the day He whispers go. That paradox is how He proves you trust Him more than your timing. Guard your mornings like sacred ground. No scroll before scripture, no gossip before gratitude. Give your afternoons to the work that cannot be faked, the kind that turns sweat into skill. Give your evenings to review and intercession. What did I build? What did I break? What did I bless? Keep short accounts with your soul, and while you are off the radar, let humility and holy ambition become allies, not enemies. Humility says, I am not the source. Holy ambition says, but I am a conduit, and the voltage will be high. Let service be your operating system. Clean the unseen corner. Fix the slide no one will credit. Pray the prayer no one will hear. Destiny loves workers, not wanderers. Beware the counterfeit visibility that arrives early. A platform offered by impatience is a trapdoor with glitter. If you can be bought with applause, you can be sold with silence. Choose substance. Choose the long obedience. Choose to be heavy enough to hold what you asked for. And here is the mystery that keeps hope alive when days blur. Heaven schedules announcements while men spread assumptions. There is a moment, already plotted, when the same voices that said forgotten will have to learn a new word. Summoned. A letter sealed with oil. A name called in a room you didn't enter. An assignment that fits you like a garment tailored in the dark. You will step forward and realize the hiding was never a delay. It was a vault. And just as you reach for that letter, just as your fingers touch the warm wax, and you feel the imprint of the king's signet through the seal, something shifts behind you. Soft footsteps you recognize but cannot place, and a voice you have not heard in years speaks. Your name with a weight that makes the room tilt. There is a reason your past won't sit quietly in the attic. It isn't clutter, it's a toolkit. Your scars are not stains to hide. They are maps etched into skin, coordinates drawn by survival that tell a traveler where the cliffs are, where the water runs, where the ground looks solid but swallows feet whole. A fresh wound is loud and blinding, but a healed scar goes quiet and begins to teach. It points, it warns, it blesses. That is why some people flinch when you testify. They are not threatened by your vocabulary. They are threatened by the mirror it holds up to their own unaddressed fractures. A healed scar doesn't bleed. It instructs. Your story unlocks prisons that arguments can't even find. Keys speak a language doors understand? You carry keys. Think of the moments you thought would end you. The loss that emptied a room inside your chest. The betrayal that made time taste metallic. The panic nights where air felt expensive. You walked out with something the unbroken rarely possess. A wayfinding instinct. A map folded into muscle. When you speak from there, you don't just motivate. You authorize. You say, this is the street I took when grief pinned me to the floor. At this corner, turn left. At the rusted fence, keep going. Ignore the sign that says dead end. There's a footpath behind the thorns. See how that cuts through theory? See how the soul leans forward when it hears coordinates? Yet the enemy would love to shame you into silence, to convince you that your map is messy, that your handwriting is unworthy of a classroom. He knows what happens when you read from those pages. Cells unlock in hearts you'll never meet. So here is the holy defiance. Put a hand over that place that once ached and, with a steady voice that does not tremble for approval, say it out loud. My story is my anointing. Let the words land like oil across old cracks. Feel the shift as heaven endorses the very chapters you tried to rip out. Now breathe and become strategic because keys must be stewarded. Share selectively. Who, when, and how much. Not every ear deserves your sacred data. Some listeners are tourists gathering souvenirs. Others are builders looking for blueprints. Ask yourself in real time, is this curiosity or hunger? Is this safe soil or a stage with trapdoors? Time your testimony like a farmer times rain. Too early drowns seedlings. Too late leaves the ground hard. And as you share, convert pain into patterns so others can build. Take your greatest wound and pull 3 living lessons from it, not slogans but systems. Maybe you learned that isolation doesn't heal, it hardens. So your first pattern is community before crisis. Maybe you learned that forgiving without boundaries is a revolving door. So your second pattern is mercy with architecture. Maybe you learned your body keeps score, so your third pattern is rest as warfare. Then choose one way, just one, to serve someone with one of those patterns this week. A call, a meal, a ride, a resource, a prayer that names the exact storm. Notice the alchemy that occurs when you do. The very memory that once felt like a thief begins to repay you with interest in authority, compassion, and clarity. This is why you must refuse the myth that healed means hidden. Healed means harnessed. Kintsugi makes broken bowls heirlooms by pouring gold into the cracks. Testimony does the same for lives. You become a vessel whose lines gleam where they once split. And when you choose to stand in that glow, the accusations change shape. Some will say, you're dramatic. Others will whisper, you're showing off. Smile gently. Drama performs for applause. Testimony performs surgery. You aren't seeking claps. You're opening a ribcage to release breath. Keep your tone surgical, precise, clean, compassionate. In rooms addicted to vague inspiration, your specificity will feel like lightning. Do not dilute it to be digestible. The captive you are assigned to won't be saved by sugar. They need a key turning in a lock. And yes, a few will retreat, not because you wounded them, but because truth kissed an area they vowed to keep numb. Bless their pace and keep your posture. The multitudes you'll never meet are waiting for your voice to function, not to entertain. Tell the story without villainizing. Center the lesson, not the wound. Protect names, expose patterns. Keep God as the through line who wastes nothing and redeems everything. Watch how rooms change when the unashamed speak. Shoulders drop, breath returns. The shame spiral loses spin. Someone will put their phone down for the first time all day and whisper, "Me too." That whisper is the sound of a lock surrendering. And while you're tempting to think this is as far as it goes, just your voice and a few open doors, pay attention to the atmosphere right now, how it thickens at the edges like weather rolling over a ridge. Do you feel it? Somewhere close, a story you haven't told yet is waking up. A chapter you sealed because the ink felt too dark is starting to glow at the margins, and as the light climbs its letters, you realize this one isn't just a key for someone else. It's a master key, and the moment you decide whether to lift it will determine which hallway opens next. Warfare is not a rumor about you. It's reconnaissance against you, proof that your coordinates matter. The intensity of resistance often mirrors the magnitude of your calling. The bigger the bridge, the heavier the wind. Trumpets are targeted even before they sound, because enemies don't fear noise. They fear the signal that mobilizes armies. So read the pushback properly. When your days get oddly crowded with trivial fires, when sudden misunderstandings multiply like weeds, when fatigue arrives with no natural cause, you are not unlucky, you are strategic. I'm not under attack because I'm weak. I'm contested because I'm strategic. This is why shallow conflicts show up right before deep assignments. Friction is a diversion designed to spend your focus in small skirmishes, so you miss the war you were born to end. Hell fears my healing more than my noise, because a healed person is a closed gate, a sealed breach, an ecosystem that no longer leaks authority. Hear me, rage can be loud and still powerless, but healed quiet changes rooms. So let's reposition. First, authority. You were not placed on the earth to be weather. You were placed to govern weather. Speak to the air around you with the calm of someone who owns the deed. Peace, be still here. Say it slowly again until your breath sets the metronome and the space obeys. This is not theatrics. It's law. Atmospheres respond to regulated spirits. Second, boundaries. Not every knock is an emergency. Not every text is a covenant. Not every crisis qualifies for access to your oxygen. Chronic chaos is a thief with a spare key. Change the locks. Choose sacred hours where only assignment enters. No doom scroll, no gossip. Guard your mornings like gates and your evenings like altars. Third, excellence. Out-discipline distraction. Let fruit answer critics. Skill is a rebuttal, consistency a shield. Give your work such integrity that slander gets bored. Excellence turns warfare into background noise like rain on a roof you built to code. Fourth, intercession. Every general has a radio. Choose 2 trusted people who pray with you weekly. Not performers, not paparazzi, but soldiers who can hear God under static. Share targets, not theatrics. Pray names, strategies, and times. When one weakens, the others lift. When one hears, all align. Watch how patterns break when air support is scheduled instead of sporadic. And when the familiar agitation tries to bait you into pettiness, step back and run the play. Speak peace, reinforce boundaries, deliver excellence, call the intercessors. You will feel the line hold. The wind will shout louder right before it gives up, and that shout is your cue to go quieter still. Walk like a lighthouse in a storm, beam steady, foundation anchored. You'll notice something strange. The same mouths that mocked will start measuring their words around you. The same eyes that rolled will begin to study your cadence. The same hands that built rumors will reach for help when their scaffolding collapses. Do not gloat, govern. Remember, the battlefield is not a theater. It's a field where destinies sprout or starve. Keep your heart clean enough to bless the very ones who sharpened themselves on your name. And listen closely. Beneath the clatter, there's a lower frequency rising, a hum that wasn't there yesterday, like power lines waking after a blackout. That's your confirmation. The trumpet you carried quietly is about to sound publicly. You feel it in your ribs, a countdown you didn't start. Then, without warning, your phone lights up, an invitation stamped with a seal you recognize. A time-sensitive summons to a room where outcomes are decided, and the message ends with one line that makes your pulse steady and your eyes sharpen. We've heard about the peace you carry. Can you bring it tonight? Walk the block like a king in hiding, steady, unhurried, already crowned inside. Breathe and feel it settle into your bones. In one breath, let the truth crystallize. You carry a mark. Your light exposes. Rejection reframes. Hidden seasons refine. Your story unlocks. Warfare validates. This is not theory. This is identity. You were never built to chase rooms. You were built to change weather. You don't audition. You announce. You don't plead. You presence. You don't explain your flame to those who prefer the dark. You lift your chin and let clarity speak without shouting. Hear me and repeat it in your spirit until the walls memorize your cadence. You are not a rumor. You are a reminder, not a threat, a signal, marked, reserved, released, again, short, sharp, sovereign. You are not a rumor. You are a reminder, not a threat, a signal, marked, reserved, released. Now let me pray over you. Receive it like rain. May your home, your street, and your name be sealed in peace. May every room you enter align to order. May hidden years pay you back in public honor. May the oil that found you in private guard you in public. May your boundaries be gates, your words be instruments, your footsteps be answers. May fear lose your address. May favor find your door. May heaven enforce your yes and extinguish your no. And now rise, shoulders back, breath slow, eyes clear. Walk like the map is already in your pocket and the signal already went out. Walk like a testimony with legs. Walk like tomorrow is listening. If this word hit the center of you, stamp it in the comments right now. Type, I am marked and I won't hide. Seal it, then accept the 48-hour challenge. One act of quiet excellence. No announcement, no applause, just fruit. Return here and report under this video what shifted when you chose mastery over noise. Share this with the one who keeps dimming to survive. Lift them, lead them, then hold the moment. Soft smile, light in your eyes, silence for 2 beats, because kings don't rush benedictions. When the screen fades, your next step is waiting. And the next video I left for you, reserved, not forgotten, is your key for the doors about to open. Go in strength. Go in peace. Go as light.